Uncle.
There's no way.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things. My kind of guy. Here you go, friend.
Tequila sunset. Of course. Drink first, story later. Classy. This last one is the most Martinet story I've ever heard. I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast...
A shovel hits the sand somewhere behind the reeds, near an abandoned construction yard. The young men look over their shoulders suspiciously. The sound of their digging seems loud in the sudden silence.
Magic animals? No, man, No, Tequila. Most people already know where they live. It's guys like you and me that are the exceptions. Hey, hey! All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing's got a pull on certain kinds of people. You know, obsessive types. Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking haggard and dejected. The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins at a legendary design studio, right here in Martinez. There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history, but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some real... That is, if he even... Anyway, sometime later, he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff.
A paradigm-shattering revolution.
But then, something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design work go hand in hand. You know Tequila, nose candy, the White Railroad, party power.
The kids on the streets also call it
Or Emalan gold. For the plateau on which most of the world's supply.
Sinus salt, the White Knight.
Kansi, for its popularity among the aristocratic class of the...
Along with a number of more banal street names. Blow, of course, but also flake, powder, pearl. Really, anything that's white will work. He's talking about cocaine, baby.
Shit, yeah, Tequila. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so Now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine...
Right. Wrong. Do it all the time. All day, babe.
Hey, Tequila, pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance. An advert so minimal, it contained neither text nor images, just pure white. Apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as w-" But the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner...
That's almost certainly wrong again, nerd. Where there's a...
That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian pure. There are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still locked.
The cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull. Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world-famous design... That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here. Or probably further down the coast.
No, my grandma always told me his grave...
This is ludicrous and physically impossible. Sinuses can contain that amount of anything.
Now, detective. Always the skeptic.
The archaeologists say they want to put it in a museum. The gangsters say they want to sell it.
Bullshit. They just want to snort it. But you could beat them to it, Harry.
I'm pretty sure they all...
And why wouldn't they, eh? Sounds like right strong stuff.
Don't listen to him or his...
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. That it's underwater.
Or maybe it's in the air. Or in an inch.
In a pyramid? Now that would be something.
They're pretty vague about it in general. The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some blow out of a dead man.
Honest men on an honest...
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What?
For one, the way is blocked by that big lorry that says Delta Logistics Company on the side. You definitely have to... And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive. It'd have to be a big production to do the cocaine. It's just not feasible within the economic and temporal frame of our current setup. Matter of fact, unless a...
I have to agree. We barely have what we need to solve the case we've got now. We can... Besides, it would look extremely bad for the RCM to be caught up in something that has the word cocaine writ large on it. The PR...
Wait. Maybe there's another way.
Yeah, well, that's the reality situation for you. Can't really remember seeing any...
It's a touchy topic. He really has no idea who this Ruby is, sire.
Not that I can think of. That might be the case. Yes.
There's... The dome-shaped plastic boy bobs up and down.
We still got here too late. There's nothing of use here anymore.
The trap is forth. A row of ghostly shades facing a crumbling wall, with another 7 shades standing a cold behind this. As you approach, the man turns. He appears
Ah, super. It's the officer. What brings you down to the scenic Martinez coast? Well, that's très simple. I was visiting the fishing village just north of here. They have applied for a series. And then, well, I had some extra time on my hands, so I decided to stroll down here. It's quite peaceful, isn't it? Yes. There's nothing like a stroll along the coast to lift one's spirit. Really? Here? How can you be sure? Ah, a very useful gift for a police detective, I'm sure.
Are you just going to let him get away with these generalities and euphemisms?
Now. Human life is always... Though I do hope whoever was responsible at least compensated the building's owner appropriately. Ah bon? I'm all ears, officer. My friend, if it's la responsabilité you're after, I have good news for you.
God, of course it does.
The Comité de Responsabilité de Revachol. It acts as a sort of clearinghouse for coalition activities. To put...
Yes, this is just...
I would offer to connect you with the committee myself, but alas, I am not...
What? He's speaking figuratively. He means he's not in Martinez in his official capacity.
Précisément. Officially, I am still in La Delta, preparing for an upcoming conference on fuel oil. That's why it would be extremely irregular, or potentially even inappropriate for me to intercede with the committee concerning a district I'm not of. Well, under ordinary circumstances.
In other words, the committee...
But if you have information of a vital interest, they might be willing to entertain an exception. In which case, I would advise you to contact them via Coalition Warship Archer. Officer, you mean to say that you haven't noticed the giant Coalition aerostatic peacefully patrol...
You follow the man's gaze out toward the west. There, hanging some distance above, it looks to your eye like some kind of long metallic... Not just any fish. It moves like some... Don't let the paint job fool you. It's a goddamn killing machine, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Isn't it? A triumph of both technical ingenuity and international cooperation. I, for one, feel much safer knowing it's up there watching all of us. You see, in addition to being an airborne artillery platform, Coalition Warship Archer is also the linchpin of the Coalition's surveillance and communication and listening. It has the most objective vantage point in the entire city. I find it a great comfort to know there are benevolent powers watching. This is quite the problem. Very tricky. Of course, the Archer has ordered, but in that case, you would require a radio transmitter capable of broadcasting on Coalition frequencies. And that kind of technology naturally isn't typically available. I suppose there might be some way to circuit bend your way onto those frequencies, but you'd have to be one of those techno-tinkerers to do it. Unfortunately not, no. I don't have the pleasure.
Sounds like something that programmer we met in the...
Let me just say that I always...
The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth. Maybe it's just a storm. There's no echo.
No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings. We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martin. In conclusion, she could be under any... I hope not.
You pick up the handset. There's a tone. The machine is operable. You pick up the handset. There's a tone. The machine is operable. Calling. Still. This feels end of tone.
Pierre, is that you, Pierre? So nice of you to find the time to call me. It gets so lonely. Even the animals have died. Are you sure you're Pierre?
Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sam, you get a sinking feeling. It makes you look if Lieutenant Kitsuragi overheard you. To your relief, he did not. Calling. Still again. Someone with...
Hello, Gerard speaking.
Hello, Gerard. Technically speaking, you're electricity. No, what you are is a surprise. Get his wife on the phone.
Who is this? Who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that? Very funny, asshole. Why don't you grow up? Oh, and Disco is dead.
Phone. Disconnect tone. Calling. 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 Still.
Stop calling me, man. I'll get you your money, alright? I just need till tonight. Let me work. Tethys. Hey! You're not...
Disconnect. Calling. Sounds like he hasn't talked to anyone in quite a while.
Writing. I hate writing.
The man. You do not hear the customary disconnect tone. Seems like it did not have time. Lucky you. The call went too fast for the payphone to register. You close your eyes and put your index finger on the rotary dial. Then pull down. Strange. This is not how you started before. Four 1117 Your fingers keep... Yes. 451-67-451. You have dialed God knows how many numbers. The headset has been waiting silently to relay a signal. An ultra-long distance call. Your air fills with a crackle, the wash of a strange ocean full of white noise. A little bird starts ringing in there, calling. It the saddest sound, both pitiful and terrifying. Calling still. The handset starts slipping from your sweaty palm. Your breathing is heavy. The lieutenant is too far away to hear your yelp. The sea wind blows. Calling. Then the ocean breaks. Out of the depth.
Hello? Who is this? Dora, who is this? The connection is bad.
Dora. The name feels like a gift. A gift that was meant for you, to make it possible to live. In the distorted distance, you hear someone turning next. Don't react. Whatever you do, don't react to that last thing. It doesn't matter if you react or not. You still think you hear a man's voice in the background.
No. It's you, isn't it? It's you. What? Oh no. Is that you?
This is too much. You need to recede.
Oh no, not this. What time is it? You're not ominous, Harry. You're drunk.
You only have 2, maybe 3 things left to say before the change runs out.
Oh, God. Do you know what time it is? It's so late here. It's 4 o'clock, Harry. I need to wake up in 2 hours. I'm in Morova, sleeping. Yes. What do you want to talk about that we haven't talked about already?
This is bad. You feel your right hand on the handset cramping up with pain.
Oh no, please stop. Please, let's just hang up. To work. The academy, where I work.
No response, only a sigh. The connection
No, I want to go to sleep.
She does not answer anymore.
Harry.
Disconnect tone. The machine ran out of money. Run. To the church. Home. Anywhere but here. A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. Life is garbage. You dial the number again. 26 pulls of the rotor in the middle of it. Calling, calling. Calling, 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 calling. It looks like she doesn't want to pick it up, Harry. Stop scaring her. Come on, you know why. Calling, calling.
Harry, please. Please.
Phone hanging. Disconnect tone. You dial the number again. Calling, 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 calling. And calling for who knows how long. But no one answers. You need to... metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. There's a life is garbage. The cold metal is hard and hurts your knuckles. You look at it didn't give you ed. Bent metal. Broken glass. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter. Kudos. A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. There's life is gone. There's some tear, an empty. You see, it's hard to concentrate in. Whoever Red Astra is the Black Mark II. No,
A tragedy.
he shakes his head with. An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind.
That's a deal! Yeah!
Yes, what is it? You're asking me to circuit bend onto coalition radio frequencies. You want to know is it possible? The main difficulty will be finding an antenna powerful enough to reach those frequencies.
She's not joking. Even the RCM has to receive special approval from the coalition to access that.
I highly doubt it. That tower is barely able to transmit shortwaves.
She has an idea, though. You can see the tiny.
I don't see any alternative. We're just going to have to build the antenna ourselves. Because it's a completely different class of antenna. It would be like using a high-end... We need metal. A lot of it. The taller the structure, the better. Something that is both prominent and easily accessible. If it's near...
Close your eyes. Unfold your mental map of Martinique. The wind pushes a piece of tear across the cracked tiles. From the north comes the malicious laughter of two children. You turn around. The morning sun is blinding. You bring your hand to your brow.
The dead king and his horde.
It may work, you think, but
We'll need an adequate power supply and a great quantity of cable. If we connect the cables to some of the stranded lorries, we could theoretically... Quiet. I'm doing maths. Yes, it's completely ridiculous, but I believe we...
a note of awe in her voice. She's shocked and pleased by her own audacity.
Yes. Very likely the large... I have plenty of cables and amplifiers on hand. The power supply, I will secure on my own. All we require now is the radio transceiver itself. I cannot answer that for you, but I don't expect it to be. If you have real to spare, you might even be able to buy one.
And before you ask, no, you can't have the radio from Machinema.
That sounds like a perfectly adequate radio. Certainly. Though it requires... Absolutely not. My reign prefect is my livelihood.
I highly doubt that. When I crank the volume on my dyno wave, it's like you're in the front row at the National Concert Hall.
There is no need to go out of your... In the meantime, I will gather the rest of the materials. We will meet back here when you have it.
Medicinal purposes of the pearl. The cover of this heavy very well. First, next, lastly, is the ginger root you imagine yourself. Very well. First, choose next. You'll need to combine the base ingredient. Lastly, is there anything the ginger root you imagine yourself? Very well. First, next, you'll need to combine. Lastly, you've created. Would you like to try again? Very well. Next, you'll need to combine. Lastly, you've created. Would you like to? You close the book. Flipping through the book, you find a number of... You come across. It's all, finally, it seems to contain descriptions of the medicinal properties of various ingredients. That there's nothing in here that speaks to hangovers. First, you need to... Last, you've created. Would you like to? Very well. First, next, last, you've created. Would you like to try? You close the book. And flipping through the book, you find, have you taken any walks through the... And on your walks, do you stop? You need to do that. It's important for opening up your argument. There are a series of psychic nodes located throughout your body. Regular meditation in the pearl, however, can help to open good. And when you meditate, are you in the... Nudity is... You probably can't even take, nor should you. Nudity is shameful. No officer of the law should ever be called sans pantalones. Your partner is even more repressed than you are. It would do you both. You glance over at the lieutenant, who is standing. As you flipping through the book, you find a number of... Have you taken any walks through... And on your walks, do you... You need to do that. There is serious regular meditation in the good. And when you meditate, nudity, you probably, nor should you. Nudity, that feeling, is the weight of society bearing down on you.
Goodbye. hey, man. It's good to see you. Goodbye, officer. Oh, hey, man. It's good to see you. Oh, hey, man. It's good to see you. Goodbye, officer. Oh, hey, man. It's good to see you.
You close your eyes and vacate your skull, leaving your brain to wonder, where did that little fluttering light go?
Total darkness. You sink down the darkest fathoms of your own personal deep, vertebrate by vertebrate, through the unformed. Here it will begin. Oh, don't worry. The music's still there. It's you who is gone. Nothing. Just the immaculate silence of your spinal fluid. And who fucking cares? No. Orgasmic.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Every vertebrae in your spine is an unformed skull ready to pop up and replace the old one. To rule the world. Yes, it's all true. In the spinal cord.
From what I can see, it's about to bust a move.
Foolhardy! Do you even know what's happening on the surface?
With your eyes still closed, the first thing you feel, all the way back in the pivoting darkness of your own torso, is warmth. You have become a triumph of rhythmo. As you open your eyes, you should scream, hyper, hyper. You have become a flawless interlocking mechanism, a flesh and bone approximation of the throb coming from the speaker setup of the one called Eggheads.
Oh my god! No way!
With his reel-to-reel mixer blasting the anthem of a future that will never come, the young man observes your moves for a second. He throws a screwdriver and a bunch of drill chucks into the corner and explodes into dance. What he lacks in sharpness, he more than makes up for in violent enthusiasm. The young man immediately bounces up and down, then assumes the same dance pattern, embellishing it with some sort of waving motion. The authority of the law is clearly unquestionable. The young woman lifts her headphones up slightly and raises her chin.
Asil, aren't you going to dance?
No, recording.
The lead programmer throws the other young woman a knowing glance before turning her attention back to her. She's still at her mainframe, pressing buttons.
What's going on here? Delinquents.
This is clearly a Code 31 emergency. The lieutenant squeezes the bridge of his nose. The lights reflect off his glasses. He's obviously having trouble adjusting to this new reality.
A Code 31 emergency? Really?
The lieutenant crosses his arms with a bemused look.
What's happening?
for you. Rock on, then. What?
Who's the one in charge? You are.
Are you kidding me? What? Get a what? Sheesh, okay. Okay, you psychopath. I see what you're doing there. It's jacked up footwork, plus is that Ubi folk dancing?
Nah, it's not Whoopie folk. It's hardcore.
Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah? I did 15 years in the juvenile crime unit. I can do age inappropriate. Now, check this shit out.
The lieutenant begins to heel kick the church floor with such intensity, it's reasonable to fear he'll kick a hole right through it, causing the floor to crack and the pillars to collapse, bringing the church roof down on all of you. Doesn't look like you'd give a shit either. The dynamic motion of your flailing body is bordering on the extreme. You're going off the charts. Feel as if turning on the hyperdrive will be a point of no return. Feels almost mental. Are you sure you have the entire possible?
Here we go again. Hardcore filthy air. The sound above my head.
What now? The sound above your what?
Above my hair, man.
Okay, this is too imbecile. Excuse me.
On the coast of the Martinez Inlet, in a small weather-beaten slave church built 380 years ago by settlers from the Occident, most likely to guard against an anomaly at its center, an officer of...
I am La Rebachelière. I am the city. I am a fragment of the world spirit. My heart is the wind corridor. The bottom of my air is red. I have 100,000 luminous arms. Come morning, I carry industrial dust and let it settle on tree leaves. I shake the dust from those leaves and onto your coat. I've seen you. I've seen you. I've seen you with her.
Dolores?
And I've seen you without her. I've seen you on the crescent of the hill. The modulations of my voice are noted down with thermometers, and I also reside in your lungs and vestigial organs. You are an officer of the citizens' militia, Jante and Rebut. You move through my streets freely, in motor carriages and on foot. I need you. You can keep me on this earth. Be vigilant. I love you.
An officer of the RCM is lying on the floor of a small church with his eyes rolled.
Had a good rest there?
Fuck yeah! I bet you did. Those were some...
That's all great, but we should really get going.
You might be imagining it, but it feels like Egghead turned the volume down. Such is...
Man! Now imagine if we could do that, right? But with end of human development. Mission all right.
You're absolutely beat. Muscles rip.
Goodbye, off. Oh, the god of dance is back. Goodbye. Yo, man. What's on your mind?
Parker.
That's a deal!
The mother of humanism.
Yes, what is it?
Hello, mister. Bye.
The scruffy-haired little boy.
Our tenant, the policeman.
Either he's gonna... You're back. Good.
Hello, hello. A transceiver, is it?
He produces a machine. The lieutenant whistled.
A genuine crystal sprach. This is a connoisseur's mod.
The Model 9 also comes equipped with a signal purifier to suppress crosstalk. Especially good. Well, it's not that Ilmaran surplus junk, that's for sure. We think 120 real is more than reasonable. You'll be back again. I've got a feeling.
Wow. A very large red t-shirt with an impressive... Oh yeah. The print depicts a muscled man striding toward you. A giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning smells like worn cotton. Worn cotton with a side...
Sniffing is okay.
You're not imagining it. Photon emissions?
Hell yeah, man. I don't usually carry printed tees, but this one was just pure exemplar. A fan? No, I wouldn't go that far. But I do think that most people don't think that the man from Yelmdale really existed. But they're wrong. I mean, even if the man from Yelmdale didn't...
Okay.
You sound skeptical. It's not. Besides, I've been to Kotla. Though not quite as far north as the Yelmdale.
His theory isn't exactly incoherent. Very, very unique energies.
Too rare.
That's dirt cheap.
But why? I suppose that makes sense, yes.
Everything's...
Oh. Host Almighty.
Make way for the master. Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme.
Again?
Hey, was there...
This window is pristine on the inside, smooth as ice. There are spots of mud and rain on the outside. Following your lead, the lieutenant leans...
Looks like it, yes.
This window is pristine on the inside. A vague sense of... This window is pristine on the golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it are two neon-lit, a two-hearted spider. Like the witness said, the man is kneeling, the woman is on her back, It's the night of March 4th and a shot has just been fired. The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth. A ray cast from the roof outside. Location A prime. The glass fractures around the bullet hole. Shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back. The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible directions, all on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points. There could have been. Then the rain and slush at 72%, with an antique weapon that fires military-grade ammunition. A Belmargrave rifle, for example. This is a good short distance, but not too short. The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like shooting fish in an aquarium. A well-lit aquarium. The victim opened his mouth to let the bullet in. Neither of them would have seen anything outside, in the darkness. Too busy with their own bodies. Point X would contradict the woman's testimony, rendering the entire proposition void. These none that you've found thus far, but that doesn't mean that's a 28%, yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes the possibility. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in... According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the northern edge of the abandoned board. B prime for Boardwalk, B double prime for Land's End, and B triple prime for the islet. 700 meters away. The likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that 1.2 kilometers away, the least likely of these positions, let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it, possibly from 1 kilometer away, a point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beach. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view.
From where, precisely? I see you have given this a lot of thought. Are those the locations you've singled out in addition to the roof? And what is the likelihood, in your opinion, that it came from a further distance? Okay, well, we should see if there is gunshot residue or sniper nests if we go down the corridor. It would be the diligent thing to do.
Just as you look at the flowers, a gust of wind raises them from the roof, picking them up. This window is pristine, golden light. The man looks from the roof outside. The man does not know that there could have been 72%. The lights were on in it. Now, point X would contradict that's a 28%. Accord B prime for board 700 meters away. 1.2 kilometers away. 1 kilometer. The shot would have been a small miracle.
I see you have given this a lot of... Oh, it would be...
The man does not know the bullet has entered it. Just as you look at the flowers, you catch a single white flower between your fingers. The rest, the young woman looks at the Maybell in your hand. The lieutenant gives you. Six crumbling petals rest on your palm.
This is the Insulindian lily, called Mabel's or Lucille's tears during the Revolution. Girls used to pin these on soldiers before sending them off to battle. The revolutionaries saw the communards and the anarchists. White's their color, but the custom started in the suzerain's army. It's about girls and boys more than sides. Girls sending off, yes, but not this early, not to my knowledge. It looks dried. Maybe. Maybe not.
The petals, water flows under the channel bridge. Dark water. You rub your side inland, above the Martinez district. The wrinkled fingers of an old man. Rene, that old man in the uniform. Maybe... The same small, heavy door. No.
I was just thinking, what a nice Oh.
Did you take the document?
No, of course not. As I said, it would have been too risky for me to use those documents anyway.
She doesn't seem to be lying. She's genuinely spooked by their disappearance.
Yes, I am. Regardless of... It was probably just an accident. I really don't know, sir. I certainly don't feel like I've won.
She smiles. A bitter little smile. She means it.
Clearly, I haven't. We're having this conversation.
The wet wind, heavy with brine and industrial.
I'm stuck in Martinez just like all of us. I've been up here for... I don't know how long now. I like to call this my rooftop containment facility. I don't know what to say. None of this is fortuitous for me. For my sins, of course. The long for destroying my first love. Did I? Why do I still feel suspicion hanging over me then? What I managed was to get him killed.
The lieutenant looks away. He feels uncomfortable with this conversation. He doesn't know what to add.
You mean that little thing you caught when you first came here? I don't know, sir. I said I have no idea what to make of them. I mean, there's no reason for me to think.
She nods. There is suddenly a strange glint in her eye. She looks at the dried petals. Chipped white polish covers the nail. It's long and sharp, like a mini dagger.
Pretty. Looks like a dried Maybell. Is that the one you caught? Sambo style? A martial art, sir.
Samurai boxing, or Sambo.
Why was there a flower on the roof? I don't know.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. The same small, heavy... The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick... The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick... The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it, gung-ho style. Entering the premises style. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it.
All right.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it, gung-ho style. Entering the premises style. But the door fails to respect the force. All you hear is the bar rattling inside, laughing at you.
All right.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it. Gun. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it. Gung-ho style.
All right.
Let's...
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it, gung-ho style. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You can The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. Something, it is an unbelievable.
Nice.
Filling you with a...
Sounds like the property damage wasn't in vain, at least. I don't know about that.
It totally was. You clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of...
Jackpot. These, unlike everything else here, are new. 3 weeks maximum from the dust coverage. It could easily have been...
This is good. He likes it.
This isn't bad at all. It was a good idea to see where that door leads. It means someone snuck through what seemed like a secret route, leading to the roof. From where you... This prints, officer, could be the prints of our killer.
Large prints, most likely made by boots. The size is hard to determine. Sole could be bigger than vamp. The soles have left a pattern, uniform, horizontal lines.
The size looks about the same, actually. They're not the same shoe, but they could be the same person. No, these little horizontal lines are different. They look custom-made to me, or some kind of...
Everything around you is quiet. Over there, in the corner. Not just any pinball machine. This is the pinnacle of pinball. Cornelius lit, a phrase almost synonymous with the Insulindian pinball scene.
The pinball machine. Gordy's Goats, a classic. A little.
Feels like a lot.
Ah, great.
Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats reads the golden letter. Get the game on, Fingerboy. Those flippers are ready. Above the painting of a moustached man climbing a hill, a column reads, inspired by the legend of Cornelius Gordy, taken on the world's tallest peak, Corpus Mundi. The theme of the game is to explore Gordy's climb through the peak of the areas around the playfield. Indeed, think of them as balls. It takes a while to get into a rhythm, but pretty soon you're able to keep 3 go finger.
I feel sorry for the goats. If they only knew the kind of guy old Cornelius really was. The kind of a guy who uses the word savages a lot when recounting his travels. A mess, an avid huntsman too. He was often photographed in his dining hall, surrounded by wall-mounted hunting trophies from every continent. He also hit his wife and kids. Other people's kids too. Sometimes pets.
But you seem to be having fun.
Your game is definitely improving. The jolly goats are flying all... Suddenly, a special passage leading to the summit slides open at the top of the board, maneuvering a goat ball into a position for a perfect hit. The words "Pale Rupture" light up on the speaker panel, and the machine starts filling with a thick...
Congratulations. This is where the game ends. It's a cheap way of getting more...
There's so much fog, you can barely see anything. Some is actually leaking out of the machine. This can be navigated. The balls leave almost imperceptible disruptions. You're down to your last goat, going mostly by sound. Eyes are useless at this point, but that goat is something special. You're in a perfectly balanced system where neither you nor the power is able to get the upper hand. This could go on forever.
I am. I've seen it before. Played it too. You will eventually make a mistake and then it's all over.
You see a heavy steel door with...
There must be a key somewhere. Probably somewhere in the whirling. It's not too important. We can get in and out using the roof door.
The door does not budge. Over there, in the corner, not just lit, a phrase almost... Oh, it's more than... feels like... Cornelius, get the game on, Fingerboy. Those flippers are ready. Above the painting, the theme of the game, the peak of the map, areas around the place, indeed, above the painting of a moustache. It takes a while. Go.
I feel sorry for the goats. The kind of an avid huntsman too. He also...
But you seem to...
Your game, suddenly, maneuvering the words... There's so much... This, you're down to your... You're in a perfectly balanced system.
I am. I've seen it before. Played it too. You will eventually make a mistake and then it's all over.
Over there, not just lit. The pin... Oh, it's more... feels like... Cornelius, get the game on, Fingerboy. Those flippers are ready. Above the painting, the theme, the peak of the map, areas around... Indeed. It takes a while. Go.
I feel sorry for him. The kind, an avid huntsman. He also, but you seem to...
Your game, suddenly, maneuvering the words... This, you're down to you're in a perfectly balanced...
I am. I've seen it before. Played it. You will eventually make a mistake, and then it's all over.
How? Over there, not just lit.
The pinball?
Oh.
A little.
Feels like.
Ah.
Cornelius, get the game on, finger boy. Those flip above the painting. The peak of the areas around, indeed, above the theme of the game. Areas around the, indeed, above the painting of a moustached man. It takes a while. Go.
I feel sorry. But you seem to be having...
Your game, suddenly, maneuvering the word...
Congratulate.
This, you're down to... You're in a perfectly balanced...
I am. I've seen it before. Played it too. You will...
With automation like precision, you keep the final gaudy ball.
Huh?
A panel opens up at the top of the playfield, and a new ball, so violent is its descent, it immediately knocks the last go. High score, announce the speakers, and the whole machine lights up. Then, the flippers retract, leaving a perfect opening for the gaudy ball.
That's amazing. You didn't just win. No one I know has ever beaten Gordy's goats. That is a monumental achievement. Congratulations, Your Highness. That was really... The machine needs a good... Yes.
Once again, life has... The machine... You see a heavy... This small elevator is dimly lit by a bulb that's been glowing for... It smells of nougat and sweat. Your head brushes up against this. The maintenance card under the control panel reads, "This elevator must have been used to transport pinball machines to and from the upstairs. There are large rectangular buttons. Monter, descend, and an international call."
That it does. I say, let's brave it. No, it was maintained in 88 of the previous century. If some form of time travel becomes possible in the future, I doubt its inventors will use it to repair elevators in Martinez. Seems so, although it's pretty quaint for a freight elevator.
You clearly...
Jackpot.
I was just thinking, what a night.
Yes?
Good. It's an earth-shattering deduction from your psyche. What every day...
Yes?
The Coppernado is back. What do you want? Yeah? What?
The stage is all you feel.
So, are you ready for your thing now?
The stage, you feel a...
So, are you ready for your thing now?
The air is thick. Someone dims the lights as the music starts. Okay, here we go.
I would often go there, to the tiny church there, the smallest church in Saint-Saëns, though it once was larger. How the realm may rest there. Down through the mist there, toward the Seven Sisters, toward those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there, in that tiny yard there. I have been so glad here, looking forward to the past here. But now, You are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
A lazy applause fills the room. You feel your hands shake as awareness of your body returns to you. The lieutenant doesn't say anything, but gives you a quick smile before turning away. He's incapable of blushing, but if he weren't, he'd blush.
Good, good. Are we ready? I want to unplug the microphone now.
Last words?
Hi again, Gendarme. Bye-bye, Jean.
Ah, smallest church in Saint-Saëns, right? It was all right. Subdued. I might start letting people up there again. Now, what can I do for you?
Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno do
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front. You drop the white envelope in the darkness. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there for good.
Let's go back to Everard. This better be worth it after what we did.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. Not yet. But I was able to convince 57.
In the cabin, you see a set. A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. This life is... There's some tear. An M2... No.
A tragedy.
He shakes whoever. Red Astra. You see, it's hard to concentrate. An old door, worn by elements.
From here to the whirling, I can't see how. The church is in the way.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking...
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freitor. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there, in the whirling in rags. It's not possible to climb that ladder, and even if it were, why? There's no platform to warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps, but anyone could have made this. Truthfully, this seems like those? A smoking assailant who favors Tumutiri to Astra or Joanne?
Still, you felt it was important enough to make a move there. 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay. It's late. There is no light on the third floor of the Whirling in Rags. Smoking, drinking. The dome-shaped plastic... The trap is fit. Poor thing. There's no way the perp is in here, officer. Look how scarred the boards are. All attempts to pry them off have failed. Not this time. The opposition is insurmountable and dangerous. Dangerous too.
The suspect? God, I hope not. I can't see a way in, though many have tried.
You see, a slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in Feld Electrical. Feld Electrical You only know them as a small company. There's something in the wind.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there. Or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
The once bright mural towers above you. Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has trying to talk to the wind, a prayer of sorts, to Revachol.
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of it. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first. Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. The once bright mural tower. Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure in through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints.
She's down there.
Okay. Why? Good, good. Yes. Cold spells. So basically your hangover is telling you she's down there? So, how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically. Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground? And you're 180? Okay, but still, the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. What if you were to reconsider astral projection? B.
Teleportation is not a thing. This really has nothing to do with adventure. Oh yes, it could hurt.
He is restraining himself from using a parental tone with you right now. The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. The rusty ladder leads to the roof. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds. Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
Okay, well, that's impressive, but...
BAM! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly. Blow.
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring with a backup.
Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the board.
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
Menudo bug, madre mía.
The doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a...
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that. After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a drain pipe, possibly.
He's quite proud of himself.
Yes. It's cool to risk your life climbing rickety ladders. Anyway, let's investigate these passages.
Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, in the darkness, you can barely make out the falling snow. It settles, making...
It's a great place to hide, certainly. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages. Indeed. No one could get a clear view. Well,
The lieutenant's voice betrays a slight... A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. The plaque reads, "Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair matched. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand. Grain..."
Yes. Looks like some latter-day radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago. Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communard. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment by then, but that's all been looted. We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case. Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, you mean like Ruby? No,
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange...
No, what do you mean? I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh. Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
You think we should finish running it now? Maybe you're right. It might not be as useful.
It's a minor point. Don't worry too much about this. There are bigger fish.
Yes. There won't be time for that once things go down. Matter of fact, I don't think there's time for it now, but...
If you must.
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
Let's try not. If you can't predict it,
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, they will...
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse. Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
The voice coming through the whirlwind of pain is not malicious. Doesn't wish to hurt you. Not according to your ear canals. Wait, no. Not even your ear canals. This is going... No, buddy. That's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
The explosion of static you're hearing, blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
Saw my equations? You've been sniffing through my lorry, right? Hey.
You should probably check on Kim. That's what good partners do.
Right behind you, officer.
A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale. Literally crunch the disk. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds and just...
So, what we are experiencing is...
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless, at the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing...
She's been holed up in here for a while with no one to talk to. Keep her talking, and you just might get an opportunity.
The pale? It's the end of the world. I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented, but we are beyond that.
Oh yeah, way beyond. No, once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few... Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through. Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my...
So she thinks of you as hunters, not the cops. And
if you've got something really important to say, you...
Turn this...
God damn it. Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
The gun she's carrying is a 2-barreled front loader. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but she can form sentences. Just keep her talking, and you'll get through this.
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while. So you found my shack.
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed.
So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back.
As opposed to the other knives she's finding there now. Hardy for one.
I was. Before I caught you in the...
That's her admitting.
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first. Oh, I knew the kitten had claws, but she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me?
Titus and his boys, man. They told...
Even now, Kim is a paragon of professionalism. He is trying to make a clean...
Well, fuck. Those guys liked me, I know it. If this is...
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck do the rest of you get by? I did, didn't I? Now you've come for me.
That did make her forgive them. A little.
Like what? I already...
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
Yeah?
More questions before doing anything.
I'm listening. I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types. plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well for what they do. Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings.
She didn't hate him, okay?
I'm listening. Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to. You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time. Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain. No. Not since I was 14 and hanging out in the only diner in Dardun. Haven't been into low-risk, no-reward games since moving to the city. Why? Yeah, and probably some ghosts from the time of the suzerain. I'm not really interested in supernatural mysteries. Not murder mysteries either.
She looks you in the eye, impassively, making it...
The fuck do elevators have to do with it? Not particularly. Why are you so hung up on elevators? I'm not really into old God damn it!
So you know she's not an antiques enthusiast. Not my jurisdiction, man. But it also doesn't sound like she...
Don't know it. But also, the shot couldn't have come from the roof. Or we would have all heard it down...
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
That didn't go super well.
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna. The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia. It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM. Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the gun store, Trigger Happy Jacks. What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
A Nachtway 80 front loader.
That isn't it.
Never really got into weapons trafficking. Especially not... Yeah. Evidence. No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style. I never did understand why, when someone dies, so now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on. No, I did not. So, Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too. Never trusted.
That really comes as a blow to her.
Okay, great. You got into my lorry on your own.
Beneath it, she's relieved Tommy didn't betray her.
That's your prerogative. Drugs don't make people abuse them. Hopelessness does. As for the drug trade...
She's proud of her organ.
Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left Jamrock.
She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for.
I got lucky being...
There. It's going to be easier to reach the machine now.
Based on what I've heard about you, you are...
There's a sinister note in her.
Yeah? Where? How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him.
Those rings around her eyes. Her tired...
Police radio?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in closet. He was still warm.
She eyes you.
It's okay. We just want to...
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers. Like always, she sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her. Oh yeah, super. But I didn't think too much of it. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What? No.
She looks shaken. She wasn't surprised to be ratted out.
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went...
She lied to you about that, too.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire her. As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried, didn't you?
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way.
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not...
Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what I saw you roll into town. I wasn't...
That strange, distant fear is getting close now. It's a fear of it.
Yes. You. Everyone says you're his peon. His human can opener.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear fucking hell. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like...
Everyone in Jamrock. The cops. The criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in...
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Harry Dubois. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and a funny top.
So she knows your name. That doesn't mean you're on the tape. I don't know. Sounds pretty convincing to me.
Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both. Yeah, sure.
She doesn't.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough. You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition?
She's not going to change her mind that easily. Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but...
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway? Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had two guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't. One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about. That sound about right?
Satellite Officer Vic Mayer looks out of the window grimly, then puts his coffee down and turns to... Let's go home, Jean. Nothing's going to happen today, she responds quietly. Jean takes his blonde wig off. Call Heidelstein. He can give us a run.
Fantastic. I've got to get on the road. Then you can go find your friends. Unless you have anything pressing to ask me. What bunker? Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to...
Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer. You did it. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but...
All good, officer. Be careful.
She looks at the machine.
Oh, fuck it. Problem solving.
Ma'am, put the gun down.
Oh, yes it is.
She's truly desperate. She thinks she has no other. You know. This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only scenario in which she lives. She stares at you, frozen, the gun still. Gratitude, doubt. Her neck and shoulders relax, and her grip on the gun loosens.
Day of miracles. I'll take it.
She runs past you, then past the lieutenant, and disappears into the darkness of...
Good call. Yeah, I'm sure. I would have done the same had I not been incapacitated. Her tent. We should check it out.
Plain red tent. It was pitched by practiced hands. The tent looks old, but well maintained. In the darkness of the tent, a rolled up, it reeks of cigarettes. Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one.
See anything?
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More technological digest. You pocket the worn, a trusted friend left.
We should read this immediately.
The plane, it was pit. A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around. It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left Schneller is a stationery brand from Godvot. She's got good taste and must have... The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages, the large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently. It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams.
It's good she left in a hurry. We could learn a lot from this.
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact info.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make short wry observations of people and places. Probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through staff issues. Always tough on the leadership. You smell traces of betrayal. The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can. Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. You have no idea what she means. That name isn't mentioned.
What about this M? Could this be La Puta Madre? Here, March 9th and March 15th.
Great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching. But also, I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head. While I'm... Then again, isn't that what I've been doing? Were you supposed to find her? Even apart from the investigation, then? On M's request, you didn't follow through. You should have shot her in the head. The thought steadies your nerves. The journal stops shaking. Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. Did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. The entry ends abruptly. The most recent entry, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of...
It looks like she might have been... framed?
That would be a first, or a fourth. But who's counting, he thinks. Very rarely does anyone actually get framed.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. Besides, I'm not sure her life as a fugitive is going to be much better than Guido's. Especially if she has problems with the Madre. No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure.
He truly does not believe you are. Perhaps...
Could have been Titus. Then again... Maybe there's a hardy boy we've yet to meet, who acted as his accomplice. Either way, one thing is for certain. We have business back in...
Our tenant, the policeman.
I'm afraid we don't have time for rest stops right now.
Either he's gonna come. You're back. Good. What can I help you with at this late hour? Matter of fact, I don't. I have a medical condition of my own. Nothing unusual, though. I'm old, you see. Thank you. I do what I can to remain presentable. Now, ask me some questions. It'll help us pass the night.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent. She nods.
Of course. Anything. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. Of course. Of course. How else can...
The headless Fallen Rider.
Please tell me we are not here to look for a headless man in a tracksuit.
Don't listen to the lieutenant. He doesn't know anything.
No one's actually seen the headless Fallen Rider because he doesn't exist. There's nothing to wait for. We should...
Yes, stay.
There, we waited. Nothing happened. Happy now?
Your ears hum from the silence inside.
I know myths and legends. Let's go.
Stop. Now. It is time. Crisis. Death. You can arm yourself with anything you can, unless you have nothing. Because you didn't find your lot. I can talk you out of it. What? You're too likable to die. Don't worry.
Then you'd better get ready. Whatever happens, I've got your back.
I'm all out of shits to give, loincloth. Welcome to the fucking reckoning.